Welcome to Drizzle Show. I wanted to do a video about something that honestly drives me up the wall. Um, and if you're a gamer, you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from with this. Um, why is it so expensive to play any video game console or buy a console now than it was, like, let's say a decade ago? Um, why do we have to pay 200, 300, 400, almost $500 to play a video game? Um, and when did the market become more about investors than actual good games? Um, And I'm not saying that we haven't had good games in the past 25 years or whatever. I'm just saying about people actually affording the games because, no offense, but, like, for example, I called GameStop recently to try to get my hands on an NES Classic Mini. Um, they basically told me that, oh, well, you can't even buy those through us. You have to go, like, on the internet and basically go on eBay and bid on them. Um, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, back in, like, the 1990s, when you had, like, three different wholesalers to go through, three different stores to deal with, um, you had, like, Funko Land, EB Games, and then obviously GameStop. Um, here's the thing, though. When EB Games merged with, basically GameStop, um, we pretty much only have to deal with GameStop now unless we go online and we buy stuff online. Um, so, I hate to say this, but when did it come to the point to where GameStop is, like, the only place who apparently has the rights to basically overcharge us for a product that we don't even really get to test before we buy it? Um, for all we know, before we even buy the game without testing it, it could end up sucking ass, and we ended up wasting like $75 to $85, possibly more than that, on some games because they include downloadable content and a bunch of excess things that they add in the packs, which we don't even really want. Um, now, honestly, the reason why I haven't bought a new game system is because I can't afford it. Um, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with just my Xbox 360 and playing cartridges on my retro system. I do have a PlayStation 2, but I mean, I don't really play games that much on it. I mean, what happened to the good old days when we would go into a store and people were actually helpful and they did their job and they had such a great selection, um, so that you could basically find exactly what you wanted. I feel like the days of actually finding exactly what you're looking for is pretty much done and over with. Um, I've realized that when I go into a GameStop, I'm not going to get exactly what I want because they don't carry hardly any 360 games at all anymore. You can't buy any retro games. You can't buy cartridges for the systems unless you go to, like, a used game store, which those are getting to the point now to where they're not really around that much anymore. Um, I think that it's unfair that they're forcing people who are gamers to pay outrageous prices like this for something that we don't even get to test before we buy it. Um, now, when Microsoft got into the business, they meant well, and I actually liked what Microsoft was doing originally, which was trying to build, a community, trying to build games selections in the Xbox market place. They had so many classic games you could download, um, that you could play. Same thing with obviously like the 360 when that was first out. Um, I mean, think about Halo 1 and 2 and even Halo 3. I mean, those are classic games. Fable, that was a great series for Xbox. Obviously, the Star Wars games were. Um, I mean, think about all the great titles that we got on the original Xbox and Xbox 360. Um, and I'm not saying anything bad about Xbox One. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's decent. I just don't own one. I've never been able to actually save money to even buy one because they're outrageously priced. Um, Now, the same thing goes for Sony. I feel like Sony has really lost what they were about, which is honestly making the consumer happy and producing good content. Um, I felt like they lost that when they went to the PS4 because they were more about trying to build their online service instead of giving us quality gaming. Um, and I've played demos and things like that, in GameStop, but I have to be honest, um, I was not too thrilled with some of the menus. Um, it's I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the new menus on the new gaming systems. Um, I feel like they have become more about digital content, than actually giving us gaming. It's more about Netflix, Hulu, other apps. Honestly, that it's neat. It's good that we have that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Hulu. I love Netflix. I love WWE Network. I love a lot of these apps and stuff like that on 360 and obviously Xbox One. If I had one, I mean, my friend has one, and I've seen his, setup and stuff like that, and it's neat. It's good that you can watch live TV and watch your apps and things like that. That's great, but you're getting away from what these companies were originally about, and when you take away two of the biggest companies in history, and when they went under, that really pretty much destroyed the gaming industry. When you take Sega and you take Atari out of the mix, which were one of the only two companies, as far as I'm concerned, that actually cared about gaming and their customers and making them happy. Think about all the classic systems that Sega put out. I mean, you were talking the Dreamcast, Saturn, Genesis, Master System, Game Gear. Look at all the games that you had in the 1990s and compare them to now. And have we really seen a rebirth? Not necessarily, and it's sad because Atari and Sega were really the major two companies besides Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo needs to get some love here too because Nintendo was another company who was innovated in Japan and that really furthered the business. I have a lot of respect for all three of those companies. I just feel like right now the reason why I don't have an updated game system is mostly because I don't have $300 or $400 laying around. I don't feel like creating a profile online just to log in to play my video games. And sometimes when you have to do updates on some of the newer games, I mean, I used to play like 2K and some of the other racing games and some of the other stuff on the 360. But I have to be honest, I lost interest because when you have to sit there And when your system is updating and stuff like that, it takes forever to do it. Um, the first time that I got my 360 and I put a game in and it said uploading and updating your system and your rosters and all the other stuff, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, then why did I spend all this money on an NBA 2K game when it's going to take a half an hour just to update my roster and my profile information and my email and all this other stuff that I wanted? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, when I was playing NBA Live on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, we didn't have any of this issue. We didn't have any of that stuff going on. We just played the game against our friends. And we had fun playing those games without having to deal with playing online and dealing with servers and all the other stuff that goes on with that crap that I could care less about. I don't care about playing online. I don't care about my top score. I don't care about new rosters. You guys, every time that you buy those games, you are giving them money that, frankly, they're not really giving you the information and the amount of time that you spend buying the game, installing it, playing it online. It's wasteful, man. It's like it takes up so much time just to play one game against somebody online, and I just don't care. Like, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this because I trust me, okay, I'm a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan my whole entire life, pretty much since I was 3 years old, you guys. So what I'm gonna say right now might offend some of the 2K gamers on WWE and stuff, but I'm gonna say it. So, why do we need a new game every single year? Why can't you just make one game and have it last for a few years and then just have patches and downloadable content for you guys to just download the rosters for each year instead of making a new game? When every single year when you guys make new games, you take away something from us. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't care about content like WWE and Universe and all this other stuff. It's like I want to be who I like. I don't care about story mode and all this other garbage with the creation and all this stuff. It's like, who cares? I want to play the game, man. I don't want to sit here and have to go through tons of strategy just to unlock people when all I could do is just download who I want to use on the game. I don't care about all of this stuff. Like, when did we need all this extra stuff on a video game to entertain ourselves? Like, why can't we just play against our friends and not have the online? Like, it's fine if you like online co-op and stuff like that. That's fine. Good for you. But me personally, I want to play the game and I want to have fun. I don't want to sit there and play online and get mad basically because I'm getting killed by somebody who obviously knows how to cheat in the game. So, my theory about wrestling games is I have not even played a wrestling game since, well, WWE like 12 or 13. I think that was the last one I even played. And I have to be honest, like, even then I was thinking, okay, this is getting like way overboard and way too complicated to just play a freaking wrestling game. Like, why can't we just have the roster downloaded so that you can just download the one patch and you get every single wrestler you want to use, and then you don't have to continue buying the new game every single year. Why can't we just have one game and have it last for like a few years and then come out with another one like in like 2 years? Why does it have to be like every year? Like, I understand that people work hard on the games. I don't have a problem with that. That's great. You guys do your job. Awesome. Me personally, I don't want to waste my time playing online games anymore. To me, it's not entertaining. It's boring, man. Same thing with the Madden games. Like, I remember playing like old school Madden. Like, we're talking like 1997, 1998. I mean, beyond that. And I thought the games were great. They were awesome. I thought it was fine the way it was. And then you guys totally decided to just throw it online and say, oh, well, now everybody can play against everybody and it's going to be fair. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not fair because people find glitches in the games to cheat. And I don't find it fun to play online anymore, especially with sports games and wrestling games and stuff like that. Even fighting games like Mortal Kombat. Like, I like the original Mortal Kombat because you don't have to worry about people cheating in the games. Like, I don't want to lose to somebody who's going to do the same combination 50 times in a row and expect me not to get pissed off about it. Like, this is all I'm saying. Like, I honestly have not played a Madden game since, well, let's say 2009, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't get why video games have gone online and are so further with. I mean, you have to spend money on every single game that you buy when you get online. I mean, there's nothing that says that it's free. I mean, it costs, for God's sakes, it costs money to download teams from other years and players. And I'm like, why? Why do this when in the 1990s and early 2000s we had all of that stuff on the game already. It came with the game. You just unlocked it by beating, the game. And now it's like they force you to buy all of this extra useless garbage and crap that I could care less about. Like, why can't we get back to gaming and having fun instead of about making more money?